I'm happy to be here again, even as we continue on this particular journey of knowing about how to identify demonic activities in your life or in the life of the people you are out to help. It's important to also ensure that you don't only get a part of the message and then miss the whole. So from where we stopped, I'm just going to continue from there. Today we are looking at how did the demons gain access? How did they gain entry into your life? How did they gain entry into human personalities and lives? So that's the question we're going to answer today. And remember, these things are not just for you to write down very good notes. They are things to practice. We did talk about where they reside in your person or personality. And we talked about how some of these things function. So we're going straight into the next topic. How do demons come in? Number one, the first thing I want to talk about is they're coming from the background of occult, the occult background. What does that mean? Anybody that is into false worship, you are worshiping, but you are not worshiping the true God. You worship some idols. You worship carry about some images. Or it could be paintings. It could be embroidery. It could be woven things, but it is a form of connection with the spirit world. That is one of the ways that demons gain access because Satan desires worship. And wouldn't want you to worship God, but wants you to worship him. So all forms of idolatry automatically expose people to demons. And when you remember, if you remember the 10 commandments, the first two have to do with this. They have connection with it. The Lord said that he would visit the sin of the fathers to the third and fourth generation. That has to do with those who get into idol worship. Thou shalt have no other gods besides me, and thou shalt not make graven images to worship. So when you get into that, or you were born into that, you have a high tendency to attract demons into your life and into that of your family. So if your father, your mother, your grandfather, your ancestors were into the worship of idols, relatives, um, then there is an opening in your life for evil spirits called demons to begin to infest, to begin to invade. They don't just come into one's life or family, but there has to be access. When the hedge is broken, the serpent bites. They can't stand outside and bite. They have to come in. Now you might say, that is not fair. Well, you need to know the truth is that the devil himself is not fair. So what you want to do is to be able to find out, listen to this teaching and understand it, and be able to confirm that you are not affected. But if you are, it doesn't have to be you, but God has chosen you to be the one that prefers solution to this, that lives a life that is different, the one that paves the way for others to gain their freedom. Nobody is condemning you because you are affected by this. But the condemnation will come when you have a solution, but you refuse to implement, you refuse to embrace. So today, this is something that we need to do, and do it as a matter of urgency. Let's do it as a matter of urgency, and then we will be able to get out of whatever negative impact. And number two, apart from coming from that background, is being personally involved. Your personal involvement in occultic practices. When you try to do these things or you hide to do them, well, very soon the outcome will become very obvious. Now let's read Deuteronomy chapter 18. I'll read from verse 10 to 12. There shall not be found among you anyone who makes his son or his daughter pass through the fire. There shall not be found among you anyone who makes his son or daughter pass through the fire, or one who practices witchcraft, or soothsayer, or one who interprets omens, or a sorcerer, or one who conjures spells, or a medium, or a spiritist, or one who calls up the dead. That's a pretty comprehensive list there. So you see what the Bible is saying. For all who do these things are on an abomination to the Lord. So if you are into all these kind of things, or necromancy, you interact with the dead, you need to watch out. You need to watch out and better be sure. And the other thing I want to mention here is those Christians who play with horoscope and then think that there is no harm in it. Well, just understand that horoscope is not part of true godliness. All right. Under Moses' law, if you played with horoscope, you were supposed to be put to death. Now that is not what is practiced today, but the impact is still very, very drastic. So you have to be sure that you don't get involved in these things. You know, the kind of things we were supposed to learn from our families. Many of us didn't. And some of us grew up to meet our parents dealing with these things as though they were casual. That's why you need to check what is inscripted on your shirt. Check the things that you put on, as a handband. Check the things you hang on your neck as pendants. Check all those things. Check the designs, the designers that you're wearing. Some of them are pretty occultic and promoting the things that are not godly, things that are purely satanic and demonic. Number three, How they gain access is parental influence. Now, I'm going to say something here that you need to just calm down and listen. Things that happened while you were in your mother's womb, they had the power to influence you. And then you have many people that evil spirit entered them while they were still in the mother's womb. And there are people who were influenced. The influence of God upon them started while they were in their mother's womb. Why? That's what the parents exposed them to. So a young lady, whether you want to have a baby or you have already conceived, you are pregnant, and you went to meet a medium or you went to witch doctor, any of those things expose them. You expose not only yourself, but many often, because those babies cannot protect themselves, they can't decide for themselves, they become the place that these demons will prefer. If they don't take hold of you, they target the baby in the womb. And so if you were exposed to demonic encounters while you were in your mother's womb, that's how they came in. The other one is the resentment of the parent, who may be because of um, difficulties in general, maybe financial and otherwise, health, and then they have babies that are already difficult for them to raise, and then another one comes in form of pregnancy. The amount of resentment or rejection of that baby impacts the baby. They cannot talk to you, you cannot talk to them, but there is communication going on. Babies who are received with joy and gladness while they are forming are different from the ones who felt, who sensed, who had that impact of rejection. Some things happen to them which they they take in, and when they are born with that feeling. Well, the health system is trying to tell us that they are just fetus. They are not just fetus. They are sensitive to your attitude. They are sensitive to your reactions. They are sensitive to how you treat them. They are sensitive to the things that concern them. And so they get born with something that has already gone into them. Now, one of the Bible passages that comes to mind is John the Baptist was filled with the Spirit of God from the mother's while in the mother's womb. So many people who had those parental reactions while they were in the womb, they are born into this world and carry a good part of these things. Not just the influence, but is that they get demonized. All right. That has nothing to do with whether you are born by so-called Christian. You can answer a Christian, but the true Christian is by the lifestyle. So it's good to take note of these things. Now, in First Peter chapter 3, verse 6, it says, as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord, whose daughters you are, if you do good and are not afraid with any terror. The fearfulness of the environment. By the way, many people are trained to be antagonistic, to be unfriendly to godliness, to be unfriendly to even the very thing that is meant to keep you not afraid of any terror. But rather, children are exposed to monsters in the cartoon. Children are exposed to being afraid of flies, of wasps, of bees, more afraid than to revere God. And of course, we understand they are told God doesn't exist, or if God, those who say God exists, they say He's trying to stop you from having fun. And so the children are raised to generally not want to know God because they are not supposed to learn anything from them. And many people born into the world and even into the church need deliverance from rejection, from that demon of rejection. So they feel rejected when nobody is even rejecting them because it's an internal thing. It's something that got into them while they were still forming. So that has to be broken. They have to be delivered. A research was carried out, and it was found out that more people were born with this spirit of rejection during the Great Depression. And the people in that age bracket, most of them, because the environment was not conducive for families to raise children. And so when children were conceived, parents were not in the best of situations and circumstances. And that spirit got into the unborn baby. The spirit of rejection. Another way that these demonic entities get into the human persons or personality or lives is through soulish domination. Soulish domination. Children who were raised by very dominating and manipulative parents, especially the mothers who want to put them under their control. Many of them grow up, and then through that means demons enter. Whatever has to do with domination and manipulation, that control, that witchcraft, the practice of wanting to manipulate and take ownership of others. In fact, you would prefer they were living, but they are under your control. So they are dead while they are alive. They don't have a chance to express who they are. That is how this comes into some life, and most of them happen when these were children. Pressure in early childhood, that still comes under that. Now, James chapter 3, verse 16 says, "For where envy and self-seeking exist, confusion and every evil thing are there." How are they able to function there? Because the environment is just right. It's like a stinky environment attracts flies. A dead body attracts the vulture. Even so, when the environment is charged or overcharged with envy and self-seeking, confusion and every evil thing are there. Now, not just a one-time thing. If it happens once, well, you can't say it's demonic. But when it is on a very regular basis, when that is the atmosphere that prevails, then demons will find a place of abode. They will have one of those moments that they sneak in and want to continue. Atmosphere of strife, disharmony between the parents. It generates a continuous or condition in which the children will be automatically exposed to demon and their influences. So this is something that has to be understood. And as new parents, do your best to maintain the atmosphere that is not conducive to demons. Now, that doesn't mean they will not have misunderstandings, but don't make it a habit. Don't make it a daily habit. It is godly to make an effort to understand and create an atmosphere of understanding. That is godly. The devil will not be able to live there in a place where it's easy to, even when there's misunderstanding, you learn to forgive and release and allow life to flow and not become a place of a halt. Nothing else works because there was a misunderstanding. So that is how some demons gain access into some life, because the very home they grew up from allowed their expose them to demons and their influences. And the other time, another place where they gain, or how they gain access, is moments or places of weakness. This can be emotional weakness. It can be physical weakness. You know, that the environment that is not godly in a place of weakness can become where the enemy gains access. All right. And one of the ways we will talk about how to deal with these things and how to send them out and make sure they don't come back. If we can do it on this series, um, it's good to watch out and get the book, and read it. All right. But we'll see how far we can go. So some of those times, or those moments of emotional or physical weakness, is when the spirit of fear gain access, or it could be spirit of grief, someone who lost a loved one and has not been able to actually grieve and release and allow God. Okay. And you may think that the spirit of grief is not that severe. It can be very, very dangerous. It's a powerful spirit. And you need to understand the spirit of disappointment is another one. If this gains access and makes you to distrust God, you see, many of them are just out to make sure they gain access and use that to nag you, to tell you, see, God cannot take care of you. God cannot handle your needs. God cannot solve your problems. So spirit of disappointment can go in because of life challenges, and and the person can just become an incomplete person because you now believe more in disappointment than in God fulfilling his promises. Praise God. Praise God. Now, these things, like I said, is not the thing that you just take down notes. Number 7 I want to mention here is sinful acts or habit. Some people think it's cool to maintain sinful acts and habits. You are a child of God, you claim to be a child of God, but you uphold certain habits that are purely ungodly. To be godly means that you are like God. To be godly, to be a godly person, means you act and do things that like God, and you do things that please God, do things that are in alignment with the nature and the character of God. So when you uphold sinful habit, and somebody asked me, I think I mentioned it earlier during one of the broadcasts, to find out can you lose your being born again? Can, or is it, the common question is it once born again, always born again? Tell me one thing in this life that is done, that is it, or it's a relationship and you don't need to maintain. God will not send you away, but you can walk away from the light. And if you walk away from the light, turn your back on the light, the more you walk further. Do you see the Bible talks about the son of Abraham in hell or in the Sheol? What do you want? Where are you going? Why would you want to live any other way? If not that you are being deceived. Why would you claim to be a child of God and you want to be living like a child of the devil? Deliberately, intentionally. Why? You can make mistakes here and there and then get corrected. If you claim you have no sin when you have sinned, you deceive yourself. So don't even go there. You talk about eating with demons with a long spoon. There's no spoon that is long enough for you to eat with demons. All right? Now, that's where we're going to stop. I'd like to invite you to come in, watch out, and for that to happen, like and subscribe to this channel. Okay? And if the Lord touches you to want us to keep ministering and letting people become aware of these things, you want to be a part of this, let's know. If you want us to start a fellowship in your home, do leave your comment. Let us know. You want to be a part of this. This may not be what you are called to do, but you have been blessed so far. And if you have not listened to the beginning, go right to the beginning so that you will be in the flow. You have no excuse. The idea of saying, well, I couldn't. No, we're not asking you to buy. But if you want to be part of what we're doing by supporting, you can give your gift, you can give donation, you can give an offering. The link is below here. It's a PayPal link. And if you are having challenges in your marriage and you want to be blessed by our marriage healing masterclass, the link is below. And the rest of the things that you need to find out when you come in, you want to know what is going on in Sozo Bible School. I believe the link is below here. Do that, and the God of heaven will bless you. If you didn't plan or you don't have something today, plan in the next few days by Friday of this week. Friday is really the day we take our offerings and gifts from those who feel led, who consider to be a part of what we're doing. And like I said, you want to be a part of this, doesn't matter where you are. You want others to share from this. Gather them at home, connect this to your TV, and let them listen to these ministrations. Remember that being outside of Christ makes you a legitimate target of demons. Where you came from makes you most likely, if they were not worshippers of God or worshippers of idols and all those things, make you a legitimate target. Or maybe somebody who has already been influenced by demons. In the next edition, I want to look at how to be delivered. How can you be delivered from demons? And then we trust that the Lord will use you to bless you. But before then, make yourself ready. Take out some time to pray. Read your Bible. Talk to God. If you have not been able to use the materials we provided already to minister to yourself, minister to God and get yourself prepared. Set yourself aside so that as we go into how to be delivered, it will not be a struggle. This is something you can do for yourself. Just get ready and we will bring that your way. So please remember to share this with your friends and loved ones, those near and dear to you. Since this has blessed you, share it with your list, and God bless you as you do that. And until the next broadcast, I want to say the God of heaven bless you, keep you, be gracious to you, cause the light of his countenance to shine upon you, and may he give you peace. God bless, and see you the next time.